Procreate just dropped some new features that can completely change how you draw, and whether you're a beginner or a pro, you're definitely going to want to see this. But now here's the thing. Outside of the big brush libraries overhaul, some of these updates might seem a little bit subtle, maybe even a little pointless at first glance. I mean, I've already had people tell me that this super hyped update is useless. But the truth is, these small updates are what actually speeds up your workflow. They keep you in the creative zone and makes drawing feel just a little bit smoother. In this video, I'm breaking down some of the seemingly useless updates, why they actually matter, and how each feature can help you draw faster, easier, and a little more creatively. And the last update I talk about has made a big difference on how I personally use Procreate. It fixed a bug that I didn't even realize was causing a huge frustration to me, so stick around for that one because I'm sure you might actually like that one too. One of the biggest frustrations with brushes and Procreate was how much fiddling it takes to experiment with them. You duplicate one brush, tweak a setting, and then suddenly you have a huge group of duplicated brushes that you kind of have to sift through and try to remember which one was the one that you just used and all that stuff. But now Procreate has completely streamlined how brushes work, not just with the new overhaul of the brush libraries, but also how you can experiment with them. Now you can adjust, test, and refine your brushes without having to make endless duplicates. However, this change has caused a bit of confusion within the community. In older iPads, some users noticed that every time you moved a default brush, it automatically created a duplicate of that brush. So you'd always have a factory safe version of one of the Procreate default brushes. But here's the thing, not everybody had this behavior. I personally could not replicate this or ever recall having this happen to me. Depending on your iPad model or your version of Procreate, the brush behavior was a little bit different, and some people never saw this auto duplicate at all, and I'm one of those people that never saw it. So with the Procreate 5.4 update, Procreate has streamlined the process so that it's the same for everybody. Instead of hidden differences between devices, we now have one consistent system. If you want variation, you duplicate it yourself. And if you make changes and you want to go back, you can still reset any default brush to its original settings with just a tap. So while this might seem like a drawback at first, the benefit is you're no longer dealing with accidental duplicates or inconsistent behavior. It's a cleaner, more intentional way of managing your brushes, and it puts you in full control of how your brushes are organized. Now, side note, after I got this comment on one of my last videos regarding the update, I poured over the internet trying to find someone else that mentioned that their brush library was acting like this. I dug into forums and tutorial videos to look for clear proof of the older auto-duplicate default brush behavior, and I didn't find a conclusive example. I saw reports of brushes being duplicated or being replaced as a bug in older versions. What this suggests is that auto-duplication did exist for some users, but it was inconsistent, possibly dependent on version, device version, and different settings that you had within your iPad. But that inconsistency is exactly why Procreate did this update. They wanted it to be the same for everybody. It gives everyone a more predictable and intentional workflow. And a lot less confusion, like when you're learning from a Procreate educator. They might have a feature that you don't have or vice versa, and it kind of gets rid of a lot of unanswered questions that a Procreate educator just couldn't answer because they couldn't duplicate the same issue that you were having. And it might reduce the number of issues to troubleshoot in the Procreate forums, at least for stuff like this. So if you've been experimenting with Procreate default brushes, but now you want to go back to the originals, here's what you do. Procreate usually includes a way to reset to default in the brush settings under About This Brush and then Reset Brush. This lets you instantly restore the original factory brush. No need to manually keep a duplicate. But I noticed something about the new Procreate brushes. It will show a last reset point to every time I would open the brush. But once you make changes and then reset it back to factory settings, that actually stops. It stops resetting every time you open it. But if the artist still prefers the old workflow, they can duplicate it manually before making edits. That way they can get their custom version and preserve the factory version just with a little bit more intention. You can completely restore the new Procreate library and the classic library by tapping Restore Procreate Libraries. This restores the new Procreate library and your classic library. So hopefully shining a light on this change will help everyone see that something's not being taken away, but a step toward a simpler, more consistent brush system. The next update is within the Brush Studio, and it might seem a little small at first and maybe even a little bit pointless, but it actually changes the process for an entire art style. Pixel art. Normally in Procreate, your brush strokes are softened automatically with anti-aliasing. This is what gives you smooth, blended edges, which is great for painting, but not for pixel art. Pixel art is all about crisp, blocky edges where every single pixel matters. This update introduces something called alpha threshold. In simple terms, it removes all of those soft, half-transparent pixels, and it forces each pixel to either be fully on or fully off. The result is perfectly sharp edges, exactly the way pixel art is meant to look. For beginners to this art style, it's a huge help. Instead of fighting against blurry outlines, you can instantly get that retro video game look without having to import any external brushes or use any external apps. You can create beautiful pixel art right here in Procreate. It means Procreate can finally deliver truly authentic pixel art directly in your brushes. At first glance, this might seem like a pointless change. If you don't make pixel art or you're thinking, why would I even want this? But for anyone that loves crisp, bold, blocky looks for their designs, this is a huge change. It unlocks a whole new way to use Procreate that wasn't available before. Another area where this update shines is within workflow, specifically with the brush search. If you've ever wasted time scrolling through your massive brush library trying to remember where that one perfect brush lives, you know how frustrating it can be. You're breaking your flow and just wasting time. Now, instead of digging, you can instantly type in the name of your brush and you can find it within seconds. It might sound small, but those seconds really do count. Brush search helps you keep drawing instead of scrolling, which is exactly what we all want. We want it to be easier to use the app instead of just wasting our time searching for the thing that we want. But here's the thing, which one of you actually remembers or memorizes all of the names of the brushes? And with the update, there's 180 new brushes, and there's no way I can memorize all of those names. But that's okay. You can also search by brush set name, which is a little bit easier for me to remember. So if I know that a particular brush is in a particular brush set, I can type in the brush set name and I can find it right there. So this next update is also really subtle, but it makes the interface just way more user-friendly, and I actually really like this change. And it's updates to the color palettes. One subtle but super useful upgrade is the background change in the color palette interface. Before, when your palette sat in a mid-gray background, certain colors, especially darker swatches like black or deep navy, were harder to judge at a glance. You had to tap on them and then test them out just to confirm what you were really working with, or sometimes you would tap in a blank space and it wasn't actually black. Now with the updated palette background, colors stand out more clearly. Black is easier to see, and darker tones don't blend into the interface. And overall, you get a truer sense of your color palette right inside the panel. It's such a small detail, but when you're switching colors hundreds of times in a drawing session, that clarity really adds up. It's just another one of those behind-the-scenes tweaks that doesn't scream for attention, but quietly makes your workflow smoother and more accurate. And one change you might have noticed is within the color palettes, there is the option to set as active. That's not technically brand new, but it used to be called set as default. When it was called set as default, it wasn't the clearest wording. A lot of people weren't sure what default meant. Was it a default for all color palettes? Did it override factory settings? It was just a little confusing. Now with the clear language of set as active, it's obvious. This is the palette you will be using right now, and the one that will be on the disk tab of the color palettes. And with the updated interface, it instantly shows up across all your color tools, so you don't lose time wondering which palette is selected. So even though the function itself hasn't changed drastically, the combination of clear wording and smoother interface makes it a lot more user-friendly. It's one of those small quality of life updates that quietly makes your workflow less confusing and more streamlined. And then just the subtle UI changes making delete options red can prevent a lot of accidental deletions and prevent a lot of frustration. And now for the update that seems so small and so invisible, but has actually made the biggest impact on my art workflow. It's how Procreate handles color picking from reference images. If you've ever used the reference companion to grab a color from a photo, you might have noticed the results weren't always accurate. I noticed this a lot when trying to color pick green. When I'd pick up the color with the color picker, then open up the color disc, it would be in an orangey brown section. Not ideal, and definitely not green. That happened because of the differences in color profiles, things like display P3 or sRGB. Basically, your reference image and your canvas weren't always speaking the same color language. Now, Procreate has fixed this. The color picker will finally pull the true color with no more weird shifts. For anyone who just wants to color match perfectly from a photo, this is a massive quality of life upgrade. And another great part of this is that you don't need to learn anything about color profiles. Everything works just how you would expect it to. So at first glance, these updates might not seem huge or flashy or address some of the things that we all really want to see. The overhaul of the brush libraries is great, but there are still some major things that people would love to see Procreate make an update on. And I totally get why some people have completely written off some of these updates that have been made. But when you actually use them and understand what they're for, you start to realize that they remove friction, speed up your workflow, and make creating in Procreate a lot smoother. These more subtle updates don't actually scream for attention or live up to the months of hype surrounding this 5.4 update, but they quietly make your art process easier every day. Now, I would love to know which one of these features are you actually going to use. Go ahead and drop it in the comments below. And if you want to learn more about the biggest overhaul with this update, I take a deep dive into the brush libraries in this video right here.